All right, it looks like we are live again. Good evening. This is part 7. I was hoping to do this in maybe 4 parts, but looks like we are now to part 7 of modeling the weapon. And let's see, whoops. Let's close that. Make sure everything's in order here. My audio wasn't turned on at first. I need to go back and make sure that the audio is consistent for other videos. But in the meantime, let's take a look at what we can do today. This week's videos will probably be a little bit shorter just because I'm working on some things this week. So let's take a look at what we want to do here. I think I want to try to figure out kind of the main body here. And been thinking about this rail. And originally I was going to have it inset, but both practically, realistically, and just from a modeling standpoint, it didn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. So that will make our job a little bit easier. However, I still want to do a mirror for this. So I'm going to grab something like this object. And I'm going to... I think if we turn off these... Actually, that probably doesn't matter for determining the origin. It might, I'm not sure. I'm going to guess it doesn't. So I'm going to set the origin to the geometry. And now what this is going to do is it's going to have it centered. So now we have a origin for this object that's centered. I'm going to do good old, where is it? Shift S, cursor just selected. And then I'm going to say set origin to 3D cursor for this object, and then do a mirror modifier along the Z axis. Oh, come on. Okay. So then what we can do is only focus on one of these sides, and we can mirror it. The reason we're not doing this like a solid object like we typically would for some of these other components is that we might want to have cutouts and other things. We'll need that actually for the grip anyway, but because we're more likely to need things like that, even though we're not necessarily going to do that for the rail system, we will need it for the trigger, possibly for the trigger guard. I'm not sure about that, and things of that nature. So it just gives us more flexibility if we do it this way for this object. So let's take a look, and we need to figure out, let us see. We need to grab all of our edges. In fact, I could probably select, sure there's some faces, nope. There we go. Okay. What we wanted to do, excuse me, is select by non-manifold, and that gives us all the edges in this case. And I'm going to just extrude and hope this works. I'm going to make sure clipping is turned on so that we move things down along the Z and everything is perfect. You'll notice some issues here and here with this cutout. Let's see if we can fix that real quick. I'm going to create a loop cut. Probably easiest way to do this. Create a loop cut and then snap it, snap to vertices, and that's going to be perfect. So then I'm going to delete this face, delete that face. Same here. And I think we probably also want to merge by distance. And we remove 7. Perfect. Let's save, and we probably should have created some kind of selection set for oh, it looks like we have that here. Perfect. Let's see, merge by distance. Probably won't have anything. We probably already merged that right there. All right. Exciting. So now we want to do our whole bevel stuff, I think. So let's see. Let's go back out of local. And this is cool. You know, this is where things are really starting to literally take shape. And yeah, we have the thickness to this. It looks much better than it has. And hopefully today we'll also be able to do just some basic rendering stuff as well. So I'm going to grab this guy and checking my comments here to make sure, see if anyone is commenting. All right, and let's see, we probably want to just do a standard make links to modifiers. So this is gonna, whoops, no, let's see, that overrode mirror modifier. That's okay. I actually do want something like the not the grip, but one of these grip guards somewhere. There you go. I'm going to say same thing, copy that over, and then let's add our mirror modifier back. Drag it there, use Z, and use clipping. Alright, everything is really messed up right now, but we should be able to select this, select by what do we want? Face angles? Alright, that might actually be perfect. I think we want a few more edges here. Let's turn off subdivision surfaces, and so we can see a little bit better. Make sure all these sharp edges get selected. That looks pretty much perfect, I think. We'll find out here in a second. And then 0.02 for this, and then bevel, that should already be set up. Perfect. Okay. Yes, we have our bevel. Let's make sure, okay, scale is all correct. Shades, let's do shade smooth. A little bit of wonkiness there. I might hold off on that until we can really address it. But yeah, it looks like that's what we want. So then the main thing we got to do here is, yeah, this is not correct. All right, let's grab all these and take that down, and then select those and take it back up. Ooh, let's see. What exactly do we have here? All right, for some reason we're not getting smooth. There we go. I turned my subdivision. Okay. So then we want to probably create a loop. This is actually slowing things down. My computer is heating up. Oh, you know what? Let's turn off snapping. That will be a little bit better. Let's maybe not quite so many levels here. All right. If we do a shade smooth, what will that give us? Okay. Mostly good. Okay, so that's what we want, I think. Cool. Shade smooth. Perfect. Ooh, wow. Something is not working. Okay, these guys. These edges need some definition. All right, perfect. Much better. It looks like we have some kind of wonkiness going on there. Does this? That has it. This has it. Not sure what's up with that. Might just need a little bit of geo or something. Let's see. Yeah, maybe a weird angle. However, I'm not too worried about it because we're not going to see that. Oh, looks like that guy needs to go. Perfect. Cool. Okay. See, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with one of those spots. But it's, like I said, it's not too terribly important because that's not going to be visible anyway. Yeah, so that pretty much gives us that. We might change the depth of some of these insets later, but we'll go with that for now. So let's continue. Let's try to get at least some of these other pieces. Now, what do we have here with this guy? Ooh, that's a mess. We'll come back to that. And this guy. Yeah, okay. Something looks weird. Let's recalculate normals outside. I'm not sure what's up with that. Might be because we're not using subdivision surfaces. Yeah, actually, you know what? I bet it's that. Okay, so far so good. Let's see if we can smooth shade some of these other objects as well. Perfect. This one. Really want it everywhere eventually. Alright. And quick note about smooth shading. Basically what it does is it uses the normals, which I I still have not gone in and figure out where that view setting is for. I'm sure it's something here. It's probably staring me in the face. Where somewhere in here. And let me answer a comment real quick. All right. And so eventually we'll get to this. But basically what it does is it takes the otherwise jagged look and smooth just the shading, but not the actual geometry. So you can see here, if we zoom in, there are still the jagged edges, but the rest of the object looks smooth. And this has to do with the way it shades the normals, and eventually we will, one day, I promise, we will find, I will go into Google and we will look up where that setting is for the display, and I'll show a little bit about what that looks like. In the meantime, let's see if we can get the rest of the body done today, if possible. All right, this one, if we take a look, okay, so that's mostly that. Cool. Let's see if we can dissolve some of this extra stuff. Dissolve. I might leave that. Dissolve. That one we want. We could probably press J and then do a knife cut up there, and that's almost ready, except we want to come across like that and probably loop cut a couple here, just for good measure. And then finally, this one we can probably just extrude down like we did some of the others. So let's turn off those here just so we make sure we snap to the actual correct geometry. And then snap there. Okay, perfect. Then I want to copy that, make links, modifiers. We don't need the mirror modifier. Nope. Select this one. We don't need the mirror modifier. We do need the subdivision simply because we have this rounded part. Again, I'm kind of doing this as overkill, but just to kind of see, just to make sure everything looks nice and smooth. We can always simplify things later, but it's easy to go from subdivision surface to hard surface in some cases, whereas it's generally more difficult to go from a hard surface thing where we haven't paid attention to the triangles and n-gons and go from there to subdivision surfaces. All right, so I'm going to select similar face angles. Perfect. And we shall say item right here. And then smooth. Perfect. Again, like I said, at some point, hopefully we will address the fact that the artist has, we can turn these back on here. It's a little bit more of a gap in there that I want, but we might address that in a second. The artist has kind of bolts or whatever, and so eventually we will address that. So I'm still aware of that. Let's do this one, since yeah, basically the issue kind of with extruding this is then we've extruded this inset geometry down, if that makes sense. So I'll show you what that looks like. Now it's inset up, and that's really not what we want. So I'm going to undo that. And then this is pretty much where we want to copy the one with the mirror modifier. Oh, let's see. We want to set the origin to the 3D cursor. Perfect. We could select non-manifold, but it was faster to do that. Extrude. We have clipping. Turn off snapping. Perfect. And then select. Let's see if we can do face angles with that one. I think that's perfect. Bevel weight. Nope. There's some extra stuff in here that we don't want. Looks like. Select face angles. 0.02. I'll just do that and then come back and select these. 0. Same with this one. Looks like we got some there. Our bevel weight was a little bit thicker for this one. Oh, and we might want to apply that same amount. I think we went thicker to here to make this a little bit smoother. Made this, yeah, 0.05. So let's do that up here if we can. Select all of that and go 0.05. And yeah, it's not necessarily making a huge difference, but it makes it hopefully a little bit smoother. And then it looks like we've missed a couple, at least one spot here, 0.02, and this, of course, that all that information is mirrored. All right. Perfect. Okay, so we've got the grip, we've got this piece, and we've got this piece. Let's look at this monstrosity, and let's look through Main issue is this right here. We should be able to solve that easily. I'm going to dissolve these points, and we don't need all this extra geo. Dissolve those points. I'm going to probably cut across here and do something like that. These, I can dissolve the edges and cut here. I don't know that this part really needs to be all quads, but it just looks cleaner. I mean, it just is cleaner in a lot of ways, so we'll go with that. Can I turn off the bevel and subdivision surface modifier for this for a second? Extrude down, snap it if we turn our snapping back on, and perfect. And then let's turn this back on. Not sure why. What is all this? Okay, that's that geometry. Okay. Yeah, we had to add that for the cutout. We'll probably actually have to do that here too. In fact, let's see. We extruded this down, but we're going to want to do a mirror because we do have this cutout that's going to be sliced through here. So we're going to undo that. Oh, well. Okay, so we're back here. Let's see. I think our cursor is still in place. Looks good. And we will set origin to 3D cursor. And we will copy the modifiers. All right. And then let's select non-manifold to get these edges. Select similar. Actually, select non-manifold. Whoops. That did not work. Let's select, we'll do edge select. Nope. Let's merge by distance. Okay, there's a bunch of extra geometry. Non-manifold. Let's see, clipping. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let's just turn those off for a second. This, let's turn off. Yeah, that's fine. We will grab this and snap it to, come on. Oh, we've got clipping, so I'm going to, whoops, delete edge loop. Actually, we'll just say dissolve edges. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Turn on snapping, snap to there. Perfect. Then what we can do is punch this guy out and delete that geometry. Whoops, delete faces. Faces? No? Oh, there's 2 sets apparently. Which probably makes sense. Alright, and then merge, let's see, by distance. And then because we already have this geometry here on part of the base object, I'm going to delete those extra faces because we really don't need them. All right, perfect. And then we can turn on our bevel and subdivision surface modifier and grab that. Face angles. Perfect. All right. So later on, we'll make the cutout for the barrel. This one will turn on stuff. I'm going to say shade smooth. It's probably going to be weird. Well, let's see. It's not going to be weird because we actually have subdivision surface, which we don't need, I don't think. And we'll fix the shading later. In fact, we might, let's see. I guess we're almost done. Let's grab this. I imagine this being inset. So we are going to turn off our bevel for this and extrude this up. Snap it to one of these points here. Actually, you know what? We'll be consistent here and we'll snap it to this inner point because I was gonna scale this inward, but we can snap it into basically this geometry right here and be consistent with everything else. So there we go. I really like that. That gives us a cutaway. And save, and okay, this will need to be subdivision surface. We don't need all this geometry, I don't think. So we dissolve the edges, and let's take a look. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. We might need more than this in a second. Probably will. Going to extrude this down. In this case, I'm going to add a subdivision. Actually, let's copy our modifiers here so we do this right. Copy. Make links. Modifiers. Perfect. Save. Select by face angle 0.02, and looks like we don't have this one. All right, so now when we go to turn on our, oh, you know what? I want to copy the modifiers. This will need to be subdivision surface. So object, make links, modifiers. Of course, we won't need our mirror. We will need everything else, and we're going to, now that this is in place, grab these and just move them up and do something like that. And to make this sharper, we're either going to pull these out, or we might even, yeah, we're going to need more geo here. Starting to get the look that we want. Cool. I'm going to just select this from the top down just so we can do this quickly. Something like that. I might add one more geometry piece here. There we go. We've got that wave that we want. And this, you know, depending on what actually fits the hand for our characters, we may, whoops, no. Yeah, let's see, did I do that right? Okay, okay, so I think I did do it right, but I think I somehow, I'm only grabbing one of these, not sure why. All right, let's use X-ray. Huh. Okay, maybe I didn't do that right. Okay, yeah, hold up. Problem is I didn't use an X-ray here. And so we will use the X-ray and select this so that we've got the right type of control. Vision is blurry right now. I'm not exactly sure why. That's why I keep looking into the screen. Partly because so I got contacts before, relatively recently before beginning this series. So most of the time it's great, but I don't know if I have a contact that's not completely centered right now, which would explain it. So yeah, that's essentially what we want. So let's take a look at what that looks like here. Oh, yeah, I forgot we want this edge. Probably do like what we did before and grab all of this and all of that, but not this. So I'm using middle mouse button to deselect, And we will say much more bevel weight. There we go. Perfect. And there we go. Let's smooth this out. Awesome. Yeah. Looking good. All right. Finally, what else do we have time for? I think just to keep things simple, I'm going to see if I can add a weighted normal modifier here. Let's see, we need to enable where exactly was that? Normals, okay. In the object data properties, we want to enable auto smooth, and looks like we've got some crazy stuff going on here. Bevel was turned off for some reason. Looks like that is actually we want a bevel weight there. Yeah, there we go. So far, so good. So yeah, this helps basically fix our normals in a lot of cases, especially for hard surface objects. So auto smooth and added weighted normal. We could adjust the settings, but in this case, the default is going to work perfectly. And that just lets us avoid having to use the subdivision surfaces when we don't really need it for those sections. We may actually not need it here. Let's see if we can do that. I'm going to turn that off, but we will turn on add a weighted normal, add auto smooth. Perfect. This one needs it because it has smooth parts to it. That right there. This one needs it. This one does not. So it's a way to save some geometry that we don't need. So let us take a look at some point. Hopefully we can get to the rail. But let's turn on selection for everything so that we can hide those and these and that. And let's grab everything. As cool as white is, it's not exactly the color that we're looking for. I'm going to say copy the material. See copy material to selected. Looks like we missed a couple of spots here. This one, what do we have here? Oh. I'll need to fix that. Here, and here. Let's copy to selected. And then this guy, let's go back here and we will, okay. So this guy, turn off the bevel, because the reason we turn off the bevel is because there's going to be extra geometry on those corners that we might accidentally snap to and then not snap to the precise one that we want. We want this corner. Perfect. And then this, we do the bevel modifier. Actually, we want to copy it from this one. Modifiers, and let's see, weighted normal. We already have that, so then it's just a matter of making sure that we have the right faces selected, or I'm sorry, edges. And 0.02. Grab this, 0.02. Perfect. And then shade smooth. That will make sure that everything's working. We've got to turn on auto smooth. And if we select this and copy, now we've got the same material for everything, which we probably won't have in the end, but yeah, let's see. Let's do this ways, this is really cool. This is very rewarding to be able to actually have the entire thing Certainly there's some spots like the trigger and mag and optics that we don't have, but we're pretty close. And if we zoom here, we can see our work with all the different edges and things. It's more subtle. Am seeing some weirdness here. Not sure what went on there, but hopefully we can fix it. It may just be an issue with oh, I see one issue. So this is cool smooth, but that's actually not what we want. So I'm gonna grab that edge and or could we? Yeah, probably not. Let's see. I need to grab this and do, if I can, 0.02. And it looks like something maybe didn't get straight there, so we'll have to go back and fix that. Great reason to use modifiers is if we make a mistake like that, we should be able to fix it. Should be able to scale along a particular axis. But yeah, or just, move these points over and call it a day. But overall, though, this is looking pretty good. We don't have any texture, so it does look a little bit boring. I'm trying to think of ways. Probably the best thing to do is to create like something like this, some kind of backdrop, and then quick and dirty HDRI is to use the sky rather than using an image. Probably, we don't really need this just yet, but this lets us look at what we've created. Color management, let's turn down the exposure. And where is the sun? So we got like a sunset, so that's kind of what we want. I think this is probably not metallic enough for what we want. Specular roughness. There you go. Okay. Something like that, I think, is a little bit closer. And ideally, we'd have the texture, and so this would be offset, and there'd be variation here. But there you go. Having that metallic look, even if we actually add like rust or grunge or whatever, just adds. It's hard to now that it's so dark, it's hard to see, unless I get it at the right angle. So I might increase my exposure just a little bit. There you go, something like that. Again, this is the purpose of this is just to have something to make this look nice in the interim before we do things like texturing. And just to kind of go a little bit overboard here, we could make this a shadow catcher, which of course in this case is not gonna matter unless we're looking at different angles. we'd have to have a different color background, so it doesn't necessarily make as much sense in this case. But yeah. So there's more we could do to make this look nice and fancy, but this is just to appreciate the work, and yeah, it's coming together. Some of these grooves and things might be a little bit too deep, but again, that's the nice thing about using the modifiers is we don't have to commit just yet. Eventually we will, but not just yet. Especially this angle. I'm wondering, can we get this? I've got the sun here. Where is it? Background and sun elevation. If we do 5, something that's really low. Yeah. Maybe you actually need to go higher. Yeah, there we go. Maybe not too high. 30, something like that. There we go. Lots of things that we could do to play with the lighting. Yeah, like that. Something like that, I think, is a good place to stop, especially since we're really not at this point doing final lighting or anything like that. Yeah, so obviously it looks a little bit, hopefully we can have those bolts and some of those other features the artist added, the cocking handle and that kind of thing. But not yet, of course. We want to make sure we've got a few parts. We've got the trigger, the mag, the optics to get finished, and then finally we'll need to do things like decide whether we put those bolts in the subdivision surface or apply the subdivision surface and then put the bolts in. I'm not exactly decided what I want to do, but hopefully we'll be able to decide on that. Oh, and just because it bugs me, let's see if we can. Where is it? Is it air? There should be a way to adjust the. I think it's probably the sun size. If we cheat this a little bit, we could blur up this shadow just because that was bugging me. So yes, we have control over the sun in 3D, which is really nice. All the photographers get jealous. There's of course lots of drawbacks to 3D as well, but it is fun having control over things like the sun. All right, well that is it, guys. Thank you if you've stayed this long, especially if you've watched this entire series. Thank you for doing so. I'm hoping maybe we can get this done in maybe 2 or 3 more videos, and then we can start working on texturing, which is a whole nother beast, especially for something this complicated. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you again soon.